That was so motivating. I'm actually almost in tears because I am determined to get my DTM. I will be meeting with you, Fred. I know who to go to. Yoodli, your AI speech coach. Varun Peri, CEO of Yoodli, is the co-founder of Yoodli and AI-powered communication coach. Yoodli is being rolled out 3,000K plus to Toastmasters globally, has raised 7 million in funding and has been featured across media outlets such as WSJ and INC. Before Yoodli, Varun led Africa operations for a Google X initiative that used invisible lasers to bring the internet to unconnected areas. He also ran special projects for Sergey Brin, one of Google's founders. Varun is part of Forbes 30, under 30, and was voted the best young entrepreneur in the Pacific Northwest and gave the commencement speech at Claremont McKenna College, his alma mater. It is a pleasure and honor to introduce Varun Peri.
Hey, thank you so much. Everybody hear me and see me? I'm going to wait for confirmation from the audience before I get started. Can folks hear me and see me okay? Okay, Donna, I see in the chat you can. Wonderful. Can I get a couple more thumbs ups or yeses so I can get started?
Yes, we actually have an audience view in the room, one of the screens. You can see how the audience is reacting.
Okay, great. I'm going to try and pin that. No, it's a pleasure to meet everyone. It's an honor to be here and big thank you for inviting me. I will break my presentation into 3 parts. I'll talk about my story, which is a quick, boring section. And I think the person who went before me did a good job of summarizing that. I will then talk about the dream and the vision behind Yoodli and our partnership with Toastmasters. And then I'll show you how the product works. We've got most folks at the district level championships, at the world championships of public speaking, using Yoodli every day. CGDs, PQDs are using this to recruit new members. And I want to make sure I can show you the ins and outs of the platform. Before I start, 2 quick things. Quick raise of hands. How many of you all have heard of Yoodli? Okay, quite a few people. That's awesome. And how many of you all have actually used Yoodli? Okay, a much smaller number. And how many of you all have used Yoodli more than 10 times? Okay, close to nobody. So a couple people. So my hope is I get you all excited enough about what we are building. Look, we don't have all of the solutions. We are early stage, but we have a big dream and I think we can accomplish this with Toastmasters. I'll also flag up front that in this talk, while we are partnering with Toastmasters globally, I'm speaking on Yoodli capacity and not from the Toastmasters world headquarters level, which is, if I say anything silly, it's on me, it's not on Toastmasters. I want to say that up front. Awesome. Any major questions before I get started? I'll try to make this interactive and I'll stop for questions along the board. Okay, I see someone walking up with the mic. Are there things about Yoodli that folks would want to get addressed up front? Varun, I've used it. What about privacy? Does it work on Windows? Is AI trying to take my job? Why is it free? Does it work with different accents? Anyhow, those are some of the questions that might come up. And we can go through it through the course of this presentation. So super quickly about me, my name is Varun. I grew up in India. I came to the US for college. I worked at Google for a few years where I was chief of staff to Sergey Brin, who's one of the founders. Super fun job out of college. I ended up quitting that to start Yoodli. The dream is simple. We are all part of Toastmasters and we empathize with this problem. But my passion behind it is there are too many smart people in the world who don't get opportunities they deserve because they don't back themselves while speaking. It's as simple as that. For every version of me that gets a dream job at Google, there's a way smarter kid back in India who never learned public speaking and who doesn't look you in the eye during the interview. Or there are women who get talked over in corporate America, or insecure executives who are too nervous to tell you that they are struggling as they are talking out loud in front of a mirror, a camera, a stopwatch before their speech. Or someone who should be joining Toastmasters, but is too nervous to even take that first step because there is nothing more petrifying than speaking in front of an audience. We've been this person, we know this person. The dream behind Yoodli is how do we create a private, real-time and judgment-free speech coach that gives you meaningful feedback on your speaking skills without the pressure of feeling judged. For those of you all who are familiar with technology, Duolingo has done a version of this for language learning, or Grammarly has done the same thing for writing. The dream behind Yoodli is, can we build the Grammarly for speech? In doing so, we've been partnering with most of the world's top speakers. For instance, almost every world champion of public speaking, Craig Valentine, Ed Tate, Mark Brown, Verity Price, etc., have been on our advisory team for over a year and helping us build this out, all the way to most TEDx coaches, folks from the National Speakers Association, Hall of Fame speakers, etc. The reason for my partnership with Toastmasters is, look, there are 300,000 people in the world who work week over week to improve their speaking. Let's start by offering this technology to them. My hope, though, is that we can take Yoodli and from Toastmasters scale it to millions and millions of people. A few things up front and center. First, my goal is not to build robots, right? Speaking is nuanced and spontaneous and it's deeply human. And I don't want to make the kid in India talk like Steve Jobs. That is not success for me. How do I build technology that gives you insights on your speaking without forcing you to become someone you're not? That's one. Part two, I think AI or artificial intelligence can help, but it's not going to make you Barack Obama or Oprah overnight. Yoodli can help you get good at your speaking, but it is an augmentation of human coaching. Yoodli is never meant to compete with the in-person Toastmasters experience. It's meant to help folks practice and collaborate with their clubs more effectively, get new members to join Toastmasters. It's like Toastmasters on the go. And then the third piece of it is we are still early stage, right? The AI is not always correct. And that's not even the goal behind AI. The goal is to make you more aware of your speaking habits so you can decide the kind of speaker you want to be. I say this up front and center because I get a lot of questions on, well, is AI going to take my job? And Yoodli told me this and it's inaccurate. And I will be the first to admit that it's not always perfect. And I think if we are to deal with a problem that's been around for so many millions of years, we've got to approach it with humility and with creativity. With that, I'm going to share my screen and show you how Yoodli works. Now, there are two parts to Yoodli. There is the public version at Yoodli.ai, which I'm going to demonstrate to you. But all Toastmasters members also get access to a customized version of Yoodli, which is under your Toastmasters member login portal. That version of Yoodli has Toastmasters specific drills, table topics, etc. Wonderful. Enough talking. Let me show you how the tool works. Before I go into that, any hair on fire or burning questions?
Hello, just for the presenter, we have a microphone available for audience members who are on site to ask questions, just so the presenter is aware. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. I'll wait like 30 seconds because I know when you make it uncomfortably awkward, questions pop up. Okie dokie. Nothing yet. Let's go into demonstration.
Varun, we
Yep.
have one question.
Yep.
Hi, Varun. My name is John. How many languages do you use on Yoodli right now? And are you entertaining the idea of Mandarin Chinese?
Yep. Super question, John. Context is, look, the reason I'm building Yoodli is to help kids in India speak with confidence. If we do this right, we need to work in Hindi. That's what gets me out of bed in the morning. The answer is nuanced. So Yoodli gives you feedback on your tone, pitch, intonation, body language, smile, posture, gesture. All of that, your gestures, etc., are language agnostic. The smart mirror functionality in Yoodli that I'll show in a second are language agnostic. The transcription, which again I will show, currently only works in English, but we are working on scaling it to Mandarin and more languages. Awesome, John. I think that's a very good segue to showing the tool, because I think once people see it, they'll get a better idea of how it works. Okie dokie, can folks see my screen? Can I get another thumbs up from the audience? Okay, awesome. So this is Yoodli. You know, nobody wants to improve their public speaking in a vacuum. I want to solve my problem. I want to ace tomorrow's Zoom presentation. I want to do well in my upcoming interview. I want to do well in tomorrow's Pathways presentation. When you go to the Yoodli site, you will see we have all kinds of resources. So when you go onto our blog page, we've got hundreds of articles on how Toastmasters members are winning their district, area, division contests using Yoodli, as well as best practices. You can go and see how Toastmasters are using Yoodli, how coaches are using Yoodli. So as an example, you know, Craig, who I mentioned, is one of the world champions of public speaking. Susie works with the C-suite of Disney. Diane is another senior Toastmaster. TEDx coaches are all using Yoodli with their clients today. Let's go in and see how it works. Let's start with the simplest demonstration. Look, I have a speech tomorrow. This could be a speech, an interview, whatever. Let's practice with fun question and answers, because I find that really fun. Why do you want to improve your public speaking? Let's say I know I'm going to get this question tomorrow. And let me come and practice it. And I'm going to press start practicing. I'm nervous. It's my first Pathway speech. So let me start. Hello, audience. You know, like, I just like think it's crazy. It's crazy, guys. And it's like, you know, unfair that 2 out of 3 people struggle to speak with confidence. And like, I feel like it's holding me back professionally and personally. So like, you know, I just really want to be more confident in my speaking skills. So I did that. Instantly, the AI system understands what I said and gives me a follow-up question. Yeah, it's a great question. You know, I've taken many steps to improve my public speaking. I've practiced in front of a camera, in front of a stopwatch. I joined Toastmasters. I asked my friends to record me. I ran away from stage. It's just so scary. And again, the AI system understands the context of what I'm saying and then generates the next question. Let's see, it's thinking a little longer on this one. Let's give it a second. Great question. Yeah, you know, in the past, I've talked about my time at Google. I've talked about artificial intelligence. I've talked about my insecurities with public speaking, which is why I decided to build this technology. In fact, last week, I gave the world's first ever TED Talk written by artificial intelligence and coached by artificial intelligence. Anyhow, that was just a fun example of me practicing question and answers. I could do the same thing with any recording and I'll instantly get analytics. So when I'm done, I press save recording. Let's call this D13 demonstration. And voila, I instantly have analytics. I've got a transcript with all of my filler words highlighted. Whoa, Varun, you had way more filler words than typical averages. You were especially nervous in the introduction. You can see your filler words highlighted here. Or did you know when you talk, you tend to repeat words back to back? Be mindful of this. Varun, you had some non-inclusive language. You said crazy, it can be gender ableist, or guys, that can be gender non-inclusive. Lots of weak words, just so really like, why don't you say what you want to say without being so nervous? And I can see analytics on how I did per question. And this is just feedback on my word choice. I have feedback on my eye contact, my pacing. You can see exactly where I got nervous, my body language, my smiles, and much more. But here's the most interesting part. So let's say I practice with AI. I have an upcoming speech. I can now share my speech with people I trust, my Toastmasters mentors, buddies in different clubs. I can share it with hundreds of clubs at once. So let me pick someone. Who's someone who hasn't used Yoodli? If you don't mind giving me your email address, and I'll tell you why in a second. Can I get somebody's email address?
My email address is dale@resourcesofgold.com.
Awesome. Thank you, Dale. Dale, let's say you are my mentor. I'm really nervous, and I'll send you a little message. Dale, I'm so nervous. Oh my God, please help. Speech tomorrow. Within seconds, my speech is in Dale's inbox. So I've got all of my artificial intelligence powered feedback, right? The AI is also given me feedback like, Varun, here are some follow-up questions for you to practice. First, congrats on giving the world's first ever TED Talk. Can you tell me more about the technology you built to improve your speaking skills? Or Varun, here are the top takeaways your audience took away. The speaker greets the audience. The speaker wants to improve their insecurities. The speaker has taken steps to improve their public speaking. Literally, this helps me understand if I hit my core message. Did the AI understand me or not? Even better, the system says, Varun, here's what you said. Here's a better way for you to rephrase it. Hello, esteemed audience. It's concerning that 2 out of 3 people struggle to speak with confidence. It's like my speech coach and my speech writer combined into one. People are writing their speeches using Yoodli like this. And then a lot more analytics. So I've got all of this amazing data with AI. I can practice, I can get better, but I've sent my speech to Dale. Dale can now watch my speech. Varun, slow down here, Dale might say. Hello, audience. The light in the background is distracting. You know, what's happening here is Dale, who's a colleague of mine, is going in and leaving me feedback, and all of her feedback is time-stamped. So she no longer needs to like play a video, pause a video, or say, at 2 minutes, 37 seconds, you bobbled your head weirdly. It's all automated. The moment she leaves me a comment, I can see, aha, at 4 seconds, the light in the background is distracting. At 1 second, Dale said, slow down here. And over here, I might say, what do you mean? So let's bring it back to the Toastmasters application. Application 1 is, look, I'm competing in the Toastmasters contests. I come practice with AI. Typically, I would go and practice my speech in front of 100 clubs. Now, if I'm Craig Valentine, I can send this single speech to 10,000 people and they can all give me feedback. So I can crowdsource feedback. Second, if there's a member who's nervous about joining Toastmasters, tell them, listen, don't worry. Go practice on Yoodli, build up your confidence a little bit, send us your speech and we will asynchronously critique you. That's the magic of Toastmasters. We are here to help. Or even better, you'll have your weekly meetings, but can't accommodate 30 people. Or there are people who've been dying to get their DTM distinction, but don't get enough speaking opportunities. They can now, even when they don't attend your event, practice on Yoodli, send you the speech, you can critique them. It all happens asynchronously. There's a lot more to the tool. Yoodli gives you feedback on your everyday Zoom calls. So as I'm speaking right now, Yoodli is giving me gentle nudges like, Varun, slow down. Varun, you're not making enough eye contact. It's like that buddy or your spouse who pokes you under the table when you're talking. Listen, you've made another faux pas. Her name is Rob, not Bob. You can use Yoodli during your Zoom calls as an AMP counter, as a grammarian, etc. I'll show you 2 more quick things and stop. You can come and upload any recording you've already done from anywhere in the world. You know, so if you go to the Toastmasters site, you'll see that I've uploaded recordings by, Verity, Ramona, etc. Over here, let's look at a fun one. Let's look at, what's a good one? Kim Kardashian. So I uploaded one of Kim Kardashian's speeches, and you've got all of her analytics. So if you have existing recordings, you can see how you've done. The last piece of it, look, speaking has got to be fun and light and playful. We all love table topics. That's what makes us quicker on our feet. I practice every day. That's how I'm improving as well. We built AI-powered table topics. There are a series of games. I'm going to show you spin a yarn. I've got, I'm going to get a random topic and I'm going to get random words and I've got to include them in my story. I'm going to play level monster. So it's going to go pretty quickly. 3, 2, 1, start. My favorite book of all time is Shantaram. Shantaram is about a man who sits in a rowboat and explores the world. He goes to Kenya and watches zebras, and he makes queries, and he doesn't let any roadblock come in his way. That's what inspires me about the book. It sorts through history and love and poems and prose and much else. So as you see, Yoodli is giving me random prompts to include into my story, and I've just got to be really quick and witty and include it. A creature, form, basketball. And as I include these words in my story, it gets checked off. And when I'm done, boom, I get a score. So we have thousands of people playing these games every day and challenging one another and getting better. And we've got games on avoiding filler words, thinking quickly on your feet, and much else. The last thing I leave you all with is, look, we are at a stage where most Toastmasters are loving and using Yoodli. People just don't know about it, which is why I'm coming and keynoting at these conferences. The tool is free of cost. At some point I need to make money. We will add some kind of paywall, but it'll be highly, highly discounted for Toastmasters members. We have an online community called Yoodli.ai/community, where we have thousands of Toastmasters sharing best practices. So if you look at it, there are people who are looking for new clubs, people who go into club meetings and share best practices. Highly recommend joining the Toastmasters community. And then we've created the Yoodli Ambassador Program, where we've got some of the world's most passionate Toastmasters. We bring them into Yoodli and give them the opportunity to keynote. So a lot of our ambassadors are speaking at upcoming conferences, using it towards their DTM distinction, giving us feedback on how to improve the project. And in turn, we're giving them swag, badges, etc. Okay, I said a lot of things. I've given you a sneak peek of how the tool works. There are a million more things. You can sign up at www.yoodli.ai. That's YOODLI.ai. There is not a mobile app, but you can still use it on your mobile phones. We recommend using it on a computer. We recommend using it on your everyday Zoom calls. And then if you want to use a Toastmasters specific version, which of course we recommend for Toastmasters, you can log into your member portal. It doesn't have all of the same functionality as a public site, but we're working with World Headquarters to bring that in. Awesome. I'm hoping this has now got you all to come up with hundreds of questions. So I am excited to open it up. Let me stop there.
Thank you for the opportunity to ask a question. Oh, geez. The space that it takes to have a video on Yoodli and on a computer, do you have any issues with people not having enough room to save what they're doing?
Not yet. I mean, look, if people are streaming Lord of the Rings and storing it on Yoodli, like we will come and flag you. But right now, I, for instance, have tens of thousands of videos. Nothing is saved on your computer. It's all saved on the cloud. So for those of you all who use Google Cloud, Google Drive, Microsoft Office in the cloud, it's very similar. But we don't currently have any storage limitations.
Thanks for this talk, and I'm very excited about the Yoodli tool. What are your privacy policies?
Yeah, super question. So I get that all the time, right? For a few reasons. One, we're dealing with a deep-rooted human insecurity. Like people are already insecure and conscious of the way they speak. We need to take privacy extremely carefully. And then the second piece of it is, from a business standpoint, it's mission critical to us. So we have Google executives practicing unreleased product announcements on Yoodli. Like we cannot have those leak, otherwise it is the end of us. So simple answer is, if you go to yoodli.ai/privacy, you can read our privacy policy in simple English in 3 bullet points, and then you can see the legal jargon on a different page as well. But here's what it means. You own your videos. Anything you upload is yours. Only people you grant access to can view your speeches. For instance, if I record a speech, unless I explicitly share it with Dale cannot see it. That's number one. Number two, you can get your account, your videos, etc. deleted at any point you would like. Number three, the question of how is it accessed and where is it stored? We don't handle storage. That happens on secure Google Cloud servers. That's the same with most technologies, right? Zoom, Facebook, etc. On our end, engineers with highly white labeled access could go to look at videos only for the sake of product improvement. Now we're at a stage where we have hundreds of thousands of videos being practiced on Yoodli. We would never look at videos for content. It will always be, do our analytics make sense? So we have a legal bar that's obviously really high. On the team, we have a really high ethical bar as to who can go in and look at things for product improvement as well. And obviously we don't share, we don't sell, we don't have advertising, etc. But I do need to make money at some point.
You had explained to us that you can upload video. Will you also allow upload of audio only for those people who may have audio recordings?
Yes. So most podcasters do the exact same thing. You can go to Yoodli. I'll quickly show you actually. Let me share my screen again. Let me go to Yoodli. If I go to my library, I can press upload, and then I can upload any audio or video file. To the lady who had a question about storage, I currently have 1,500 videos stored in my Yoodli account. And I can see how I've done on each of them with my filler words, my pacing, etc. And this is me using it on my everyday calls, where it's nudging me real time.
Thank you. Was there a time limit on the videos or a practical amount of time that's useful? I mean, like if you go 4 hours, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, we've got like basic constraints. Like if you use Yoodli on a live call, it's about an hour and a half. If you upload a recording, it's about 40 minutes. If you're recording a live speech, it's in the ballpark of 40 minutes.
And what flavor?
So unless someone is trying to abuse the system, they should not deal with this issue.
What flavor is your smoothie?
It's a protein berry jamba juice smoothie. I got it this morning. I signed up for a half marathon impulsively because my friends forced me, and I barely run. I'm a cyclist. So I went out trying to do 10 miles today. I got beaten up. I did 8. I wasn't sure if I was going to make it in time for this, but I did. And then I even snagged a smoothie. So I'm pretty pleased. Great question, though. We still have like 20 minutes. There's got to be more questions. How can I get involved with Yoodli? What about the ambassador program? Other languages? Are there any other cool tricks that you can show me on Yoodli? I've seen a few tools like this. How is it different? How can I use it on my Zoom calls? I would like to customize the kind of feedback I get on Yoodli. I tell my clients that filler words don't actually matter.
Hi, you had an intro question before about how it handled accents, but I'd also like to know for some people that are working on improving their English skills when it's not their first language, how does Yoodli help them?
I mean, super question, right? Like that's the user I'm building this for a version of me a couple years ago. I'm a non-native English speaker. I'm likely an immigrant. I'm really insecure of how I speak. I think in my native language. The answer is Yoodli is pretty good, but not great with accented speech. So for instance, when I speak, the transcript might get a couple words wrong, but it's getting much better. Yoodli is at par with any state-of-the-art technology. So think about, Siri, Alexa, Google Home, etc. Yoodli's transcript will be as good as theirs. The magic of Yoodli is as you use the tool, it becomes better and more personalized to your experience. So for instance, I keep picking on Dale because that's the only name I know in the audience, or maybe Jing. So if Dale is using Yoodli and Dale cares about, I don't know, her repetition, her monologues, her number of interruptions, more than her eye contact or talk time, Yoodli will then start giving her more and more of that kind of feedback. Or if I, Varun, don't care about how American folks speak, and I want to be benchmarked relative to Mahatma Gandhi, because he's my idol, Yoodli will give me analytics relative to Gandhi. Anyhow, I went on a tangent. It's good on accents, it's not great.
I have to admit that your list of questions that you started rattling off for us intrigued me, especially that ambassador program. But if I had one question to ask you, it would be, have you tested this with people who have disabilities or challenges that they have that affect their speech? It comes to mind as cerebral palsy, which can break up your language quite considerably. Have you tested it with people of need?
Yep. Also, listen, I have 20 more minutes, so you can ask me any question. You can ask me 2, 5, whatever counts. This is your time. So I think there are 2 themes in that. One, have I tested it with folks who have disabilities and speech disorders? And second, you touched on the ambassador program. To question number 1, yes. So in fact, I've got thousands of speech language pathologists using Yoodli with their clients, right? Somebody who has a stutter, who's working on accent modification, who has cerebral palsy, and that's happening organically. I will be blunt and say that I am not a doctor. Yoodli is not meant to be a medical tool. Folks are welcome to use it in whatever way they'd like, but I would hate for someone to use Yoodli as like their source of truth for medical stuff when we aren't even HIPAA compliant. So I'll say that up front, but if people find it useful, they are welcome to use it. And if you go to our website and see our coaches page, you will see a lot of examples from speech language pathologists. Because for them, their existing application is I'll just get my client to record themselves and send it to me on WhatsApp. To the second piece, the Yoodli Ambassador Program, I'm really excited about this. Look, there's only one of me, and I'm trying to scale the company. So we are trying to find people who believe in the vision, in the mission of both Yoodli and Toastmasters, and want to grow in their career. So currently, it's a group of 25 people from across the world. So we have ambassadors in Qatar, Kenya, the US, etc. We understand their needs. For most of the Toastmasters, it's, I believe in Yoodli and I want to get this in the hands of more people. I want to get my DTM, but I'm not getting enough speaking opportunities. Or I just want to like get something on my resume and I want references for it. It's an unpaid position. And then in return, what we give the ambassadors is every month I get on a call with them. We give them early access to new features. We tell them what's in the works. We give them a badge that they can showcase on their resume, LinkedIn, etc. We get them to be part of the community, right? So the ambassadors are really close to one another, but they also join our coach advisory board calls with all of these top-notch, top-dog speakers. And then for them, it's a really rewarding opportunity because hopefully as Yoodli grows, they are seeing their thought leadership grow as well. So some of these ambassadors, actually region advisors, or somebody who dreams of being a speech coach, but currently lost out in their district contest. But we feature them on our blog and on the press page. And I think Toastmasters recently did a feature on us in their magazine, and a couple of our ambassadors were quoted there. Yeah, so if you're interested, please join our community, Yoodli.ai/community. Ping me. I don't want folks who are interested just because it's cool. You've got to like use the product and have a perspective on it and either love it or hate it. That's fine, but please be using it. The kind of feedback that's really helpful to me is the tactical feedback. Varun, I used Yoodli 5 times and it had this one thing that was incredibly annoying. That's really helpful to me. Feedback like, oh, it would be cool if Yoodli could give feedback on Upspeak and Vocal Fry is nice. We are working on it, but that's too abstract. How do we make something you love and use today itself?
Do you have examples of Toastmasters clubs using Yoodli during their meetings?
Yeah, I mean, thousands. And again, I'm happy to connect you with them. I'm happy to get one of our ambassadors to come and do a demonstration for you. Most Toastmasters clubs that have used Yoodli at least once, if they have a member who's used Yoodli, use it all the time. So as an example, the way I might use Yoodli during a club meeting is Yoodli can join your Zoom call. And at the end of the call, Yoodli will give everyone on the call analytics on that eye contact, filler words, body language, etc. So think of this as, grammarian, counter, timer, etc., all packaged in one, not to replace those roles, but to augment them. And you get a transcript, a meeting report, the highlights immediately after the fact. That's how folks use it. If they want to like spice up table topics, they'll just share their screen and everyone will play the fun, dorky games I've built. Another way to use it is if there are guests who you're trying to convince to join your club, the moment you have Yoodli in that initial meeting, I promise you the guests go, oh my God, and immediately sign up. So I'm seeing all kinds of creative uses. If you're interested, please join the community and I can get one of our ambassadors to come speak in your club meeting. Also, if you go to Yoodli's LinkedIn page or Twitter page, you'll see examples of hundreds of clubs who are like constantly posting about their experience. There've got to be more questions.
I don't actually have a question. I just want to say this is absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait to dig into this. Thank you so much.
Listen, thank you. To be totally vulnerable, I'm going through a roller coaster. Like This is very much my dream. I left a very cushy, good thing I had going at Google. I'm an immigrant, so I have my own issues with visa stuff. I've dropped everything to work on Yoodli because I believe this product has got to exist. Like, there's just no question about it. Hopefully I can be the one to solve it. If not, somebody else will. My ask of you all is please help me make this dream a reality. You're literally seeing us on ground zero. I'm trying to get Toastmasters World Headquarters to help move us more quickly as well, right? They send a couple emails here and there, but this has got to be something that every member and every alumni is aware of. It's just circulating too slowly. So if you can help me, I'd buy you a smoothie.
Well, I can't wait to present this to my club at our next meeting. This is fantastic. Thank you so much.
Of course. And before I leave, I'll post a bunch of links in the chat on best practices, how-tos, privacy, what about terms of service, etc. More questions? I have 14 minutes of questions, so I can keep talking. And if there aren't, there are so many more cool things I can show you about Yoodli. Or at least I think they're cool. Most people may not agree. I'm also biased.
Varun, some people in the chat, in the room do not have access to the chat. The links that you're going to be posting in the chat will also need to be emailed to Jing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
I got a question from Cinnamon Glitch saying, did you say it's available on the Toastmasters website? Yes, it is. So if you go to your Toastmasters member portal and sign in, you will see a big banner saying use Yoodli. There you'll be able to, why don't I just share my screen with you? I have a secret link, which is toastmasters.yoodli.ai. When you go in, you'll see Yoodli just customize around the Toastmasters experience. So there's a video from Matt Kinsey, who's president, Amy, who's world headquarters lead. Highly recommend using it. It's just that some of the advanced functionality, such as feedback on your everyday calls, the AI coaching isn't yet on the Toastmasters site, and I'm working with world headquarters to bring that in. We also have all kinds of fun things, like I want people to refer other people to Yoodli. So all of our world champion / top coaches have come together and we've said, look, if you refer, I forgot what the number is. If you refer 50 people, we will get you like a free coaching session with one of, Mark Brown or Craig or one of the top TEDx type coaches. So you have added incentive to help spread the word.
We have a question in the chat. The question is, you stated that the version that we have access to on the Toastmasters site is not the full version. What features outside of what we see on the Toastmasters site are available?
Yep, good question. So the problem is the field of artificial intelligence is moving so quickly that we are putting in like new releases every day. As a result, the Toastmasters, we're waiting for approvals from the Toastmasters team. Here, I'll give you an example. So currently on this call, I'm using Yoodli. It's only analyzing my voice and I'm getting real-time nudges. Like Varun, and we're making this better. I'm testing a beta version, but it gives me my real-time talk time, or it tells me to talk more slowly. That's an example. Or another example is you can use Yoodli, as I said, on your everyday Zoom calls. So yesterday I was on a call with a woman named Carly. You can see a transcript of what Varun said, what Carly said, what Varun said, what Carly said. And you can see analytics for Carly and for Varun. So let's look at this. Ugh, I talk too much. So in my conversation with Carly, I spoke for 68% of the conversation. I need to do a better job. And I had 5 monologues, unacceptable. Let's see how Carly did. Carly had 1 monologue and spoke for 32% of the time. And her monologue was her intro, which is reasonable. Or these cool AI speech coach comments. So a lot of this functionality, the multiplayer functionality, is not yet on the Toastmasters site. But if you know anyone in world headquarters, please tell them that you're dying to get this on the Toastmasters site. We want to make it as good as possible.
Thank you. Our club had a guest who brought Yoodli and didn't tell us, and everyone freaked about it, of course. Right now, we're urging everyone to use it when they're rehearsing their speeches, but we're not using it during meetings. One person in particular was concerned that the speech she gave and recorded could be seen by anyone who had been on that Zoom call, and she wanted that to be private. Is that an option that we just haven't found yet?
Yeah, and again, it's all like the answer to most things is yes. I've just done a poor job communicating it. So context for everyone, you can use Yoodli in 3 ways today. You can come to the website, in 4 ways. You can come to the website and practice a speech or interview and get analytics. That was a demonstration I showed you. That's number 1. Number 2 is you can upload any recording you've had from the past and get analytics. That's like the Kim Kardashian example I showed you. Number 3 is you can use individual mode, which is something we released last week, which is something that I use on every call. It gives me real-time nudges. It only records my voice. Nobody knows I'm using it. So the application there is, I'm a founder, I'm extremely insecure, but I've got to come across as extremely confident anytime I speak, especially in venture capital meetings. Boom, Yoodli is my buddy, right? So that's number 3. And number 4, which is what the lady was talking about, is Yoodli integration that works on your everyday calls and gives everybody feedback. So in that case, Yoodli will join your Zoom call or your Microsoft Teams call as another participant. It'll send everyone a message, say, hey, heads up, this is being recorded. So if I'm the Yoodli user, Varun's Yoodli will join the call, and then we will all get analytics on how we did. So that example I showed you with Carly, where I could have seen Carly's talk time and my talk time, was because we used the team mode of Yoodli. Anyhow, so to answer your question, yes, this person can use individual mode if they don't want to share their analytics. But normally we've seen Toastmasters club meetings as events where the goal is to see analytics for everyone. So team mode, I actually built team mode for that application. But like, I would never use team mode when I'm on a call with a venture capitalist, right? It's weird to tell them. And by the way, while I'm asking you to give me money, let me like judge you when you're speaking as well.
We have a question on the chat that you've been showing a lot of, sorry, it just jumped down 2 questions. You've been showing a lot of examples that focus more on your voice. Where in Yoodli can we get an analysis of our gestures and body language?
Yep, super point. So let's go back. When you go into the delivery category, you will see, actually, let me look at it for this speech. District 13 demo. Let's look at my delivery. I was perfectly centered on screen. That's pretty good. I smiled quite a bit. I was looking good. Thank you, Yoodli. My ego needed that. But my eye contact was pretty bad, right? I didn't make eye contact with the camera. I kept making eye contact with the screen, and I didn't do as well on pausing. So this is what we currently have for gesture related stuff. Centering, smiles, eye contact. Oh, I didn't share my screen, did I? Sorry, I'm a scrub. Here, this is what I was talking about. So if you click on delivery, you can see centering, smiles, eye contact. So whenever you record a speech, if you record a rehearsal, you will get feedback on your word choice and your delivery. If you've recorded Yoodli in the middle of a call, you will get analytics on your word choice, your delivery, and your listening skills. There's another question from Tona. Is team mode currently available in the Toastmasters website? It is not, unfortunately. But if you speak with world headquarters or your district director, please tell them, and we are dying to put it in. Hey, Fred.
Thank you.
Is that Fred? Hey, Fred. So Fred is one of our power users, Yoodli champions. He has given us so much invaluable feedback, and I am forever grateful to Fred for everything he's done for Yoodli. The fact that he's part of District 13 makes me super fans of you all. You didn't say hi. I didn't see you.
Well, today I've just learned that everyone knows Fred.
Yeah, it is true. Fred is about half the reason that I'm even building this tool. He keeps giving me feedback. He makes me feel bad about myself because he finds so many things that don't work, but it's made the tool better.
Now I'm going to have an encouragement to compete with Fred.
There we go.
I noticed that you said that Yoodli can join Zoom and Teams meetings. Are you working with your old friend Google Teams or Google?
Yeah, sorry, it can do Teams, Google Meet, Teams, and Zoom. Also, if you all have questions about Yoodli, feel free to ask Fred the way we roll, because he's seen the tool evolve month over month as well.
We have another online question. Can you download a written transcript of a conversation recorded on Yoodli? For example, sometimes transcripts are used for evaluating coaching competencies.
Yes, I won't go into the full functionality, but like a lot of the tactical questions you can do, right? Can I download a video from Yoodli? Can I upload a transcript to Yoodli? Can I copy my transcript from Yoodli? Yes to all.
Among the things that it can it also analyze the inflection and changes in your voice?
It can, but we don't show it because I'm trying to find a pretty way to show it without overwhelming people. The reason for this is there are a lot of gender implications on, the upspeak and the pitch changes. I want to make sure we do it right. And it's very variable based on device type. So we have people using it in India on very old hardware, in which case the analytics are not perfect. So if you'd like to test it out, I'm happy to give you early access, but we haven't yet released it to the world. Okay, I have 4 minutes left. Thank you for flagging that.
Hi, Varun. We've never met in person. This is
Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
We want to thank you for coming to our district and explaining how Yoodli works. As you mentioned already, we have Fred Bornbrock and Dave Jones, who are actually users of Yoodli for a long time. I don't know.
Oh, I didn't know Dave was here as well. Hi, Dave. Thank you for everything.
He's not here today, but I
Okay.
just wanted to mention because these two Toastmasters are known in our district, and if they need support, they'll be able to contact those people. And we want to be able to put information on our website as well, but we haven't done that yet. We were waiting for your presentation to be done, and then we would put as much information as we possibly can to share it on our website for our members to access. So I know we only have a few minutes. Again, we want to thank you for taking time in your day. You're very candid and you're relatable and you're really able to explain to us. I think for some of us who haven't used the tool, there's a lot of information to digest. But aside from that, practice makes perfect, or perfect practice makes perfect, whatever that saying is. And we just need to use the tool. And thank you again for sharing with us all the details, all the tools that are available to us that seems super easy. You've really put it in a way where it seems so simple. We just need to go and use it and try it out for ourselves. So if there are no other questions.
Can I actually end with a couple quick things?
Sure.
Before you'll kick me out. First up, thank you for having me. Dave, thank you so much. I didn't know you were in the audience as well. We're doing a bunch of these keynotes across many districts now, which is exciting. A few things. I want Yoodli to be a really personal, relatable company. Like, this is not some tech company sitting in Silicon Valley that's minting money. Actually, we're not even making money. That's a different thing. But if anybody has questions, just sign up on our Slack community at Yoodli.ai/community. Message me directly. I promise I will be in touch. We're a tiny team, but we have passionate ambassadors who can help you out as well. Respond to me over email. My email is varun@yoodli.ai. The moment you sign up for the tool, you'll get some automated emails from me as well. Like, let me help you in whatever way possible. I'm going to leave a couple things in the chat that might be helpful to folks over here. The first is I always get questions like, hey, what are best practices? So I've included a YouTube video with simple instructional videos, right? Like, how do I record a speech? How do I download my transcript? How do I fix my privacy policies, etc. The second link I'm adding is the link to the community. The third link, and obviously we'll share this with everyone after the fact, is details about our ambassador program. If you're awesome, please let me know. And then you can check out the tool at Yoodli.ai and see a bunch more cool things on our blog page, on our press page, on our coach page, and more. Thank you for having me, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. I'll hang on for a little bit in case there are questions in the chat, and then I will leave. Fred, Jing, thank you for the intro. Thank you for having me here. Such an honor.
Thank you so much. How interesting was that? Yes. And I stuttered for 38 years. And my mentor, Fred, you know, everybody knows Fred. My mentor, Fred, has been encouraging me for the longest time. But see, I didn't know that it critiqued you like that. Oh my goodness. I will be creating my account. I'm sorry for the delay. Now, we are going to take a little break before we go into our breakout sessions. And we have some great breakout sessions scheduled for you all. Dr. Elizabeth Carter will be doing a presentation on you can't spell encouragement without courage. And then we have Katina Hunter. She is going to be doing a presentation, a speech on envisioning evaluation mastery. Guys, make sure you attend one of those. Thank you so much. Oh, when we take our break, because we're taking our break now, make sure you take all of your belongings because we will not be coming back to, yes, to after that. Okay, very good. Thank you, Jane. And it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Afternoon, Toastmaster, a well-deserved round of applause. Thank you. Yes, after the educational session, we need to turn this room over for the gala. So you need to take your personal belongings outside of here. So the session with Katina Hunter will be in this room. The session with Dr. Elizabeth Carter will be in the other room. The speech contest will be in the other room, and then we'll back here for dinner later.